We are going live. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. It's another episode of the Adam and Tom Show. I am Tom from Small Scale Life, and this is
Adam with Modern Frontier Farms.
And as you can see, we have dressed up for the occasion. I've got my fancy glasses on and my excellent Christmas hat on, and I inspired Adam so much with this whole getup that look at him. He is a very happy elf.
Oh yeah, got the elf ears on and everything.
I'm gonna have to take these glasses off in a couple minutes because they are just a little too much. Little too much. But
Well, it's like Christmas Liberace. We're here to make fun of you.
oh, of course. Well, it is fancy. It's a fancy Christmas, so we are living large and loving life. So we are always, pinkies up. Of course, we are always dreaming big, but thinking small, living small. How was your week, brother?
Big.
Yes.
Small's the new big.
Small's the new big. Yes. How was your week, my brother?
Oh, it was great. Very busy.
Yep.
All of a sudden, just every single day, it was another 2, 3, 4 orders that we had to get in. A lot of people are looking at, hey, what do you have for our Christmas celebration?
Yes.
Last minute gifts. We are. A lot of people are getting the last minute gifts. They're like, hey, do you have your beef sticks?
Yeah.
We're having a party. Can we have some summer sausage? And obviously, we have been selling a lot of our Taste of Wisconsin gift box, and that's been going really well.
Adam. You know what I had at our Christmas party this weekend? What did I have at my party?
What did you have at your Christmas party?
I had some delicious beef sticks, and I had this summer sausage that was literally out of this world awesome. These great crackers, local Wisconsin cheeses, and then this trout dip that was gone just like that. It was amazing how fast it went. And it all is thanks to you, man. That gift box is it's stellar, it's killer, it is awesome. You need to get one, everyone. So might be a little too tough to get it unless you're local to Milwaukee area for Christmas, but New Year's is right around the corner. You're going to have people over. You're going to have a celebration. Talk to this guy right here because he's got an awesome gift box and it's delicious. It is delicious.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's I really want to not just promote myself, but promote all these other small businesses that are doing really cool things. And it's something that, hey, all these small businesses work together. Guess what? A bunch of small businesses working together can become a big success.
Right. Well, it was a big hit here, and there is literally none of it left. Everybody ate it and enjoyed it, and it just filled out our charcuterie board. I got a picture of my mom taking a big scoop of that trout dip, and I think I sent you that on the weekend. It was fun to just watch people devour this thing. It was a big hit, dude. So thank you for sending it. Let's see. I ordered it on Tuesday. It showed up on Thursday. Pretty amazing. I mean, we're not next door to each other. We're a few hundred miles away. So it came. It was perfect, and it just fit right in really well. So thank you so much, dude.
Hey, no problem. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It always makes me feel good when people are really enjoying some of the hard work that I do. And it's been a very hard working year for 2024. Found a lot of success, and hopefully we're just setting up to try to find success in 2025.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to be talking about. Is just kind of quick closing out of. As I look back, got ready for the show, and I was looking back at 2024. It was like, holy smokes, I got a lot done. It's pretty amazing how much stuff got done. I'm sure you feel the same way. And then I'm looking at 2025, projecting out to 2025 and what I'm going to be focusing on. And it's like, yeah, there's some real good stuff that's going to be happening. So anything else about the meat or anything else going on?
Well, we are just slowly making progress forward, doing cool things, making things happen. So we're living large and doing whatever we can do to make things happen. So It just because it's the off season doesn't mean that you still can't get locally raised meat, even though you farmers market. Well, there is one farmers market. It's a small one, very elite, very small though. But
And that's at Java Twist, right? In Pewaukee every Thursday. Yep. Okay.
Yep.
So as one more question about meat, and then we'll jump into the stuff. So what are you seeing? What is the most popular thing people are gearing up for like either Christmas or New Year's? What is there, like ribs, or is there like brisket, or is there one thing that hits one or another thing that hits the other? What are you seeing right now from your market research as you sell?
Right now it's a lot of ribeye steaks.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Ribeye steaks, some beef tenderloin.
Very cool.
Those two are the big ones for us right now, though.
Cool. Nice. One more question, of course, before we get into the topic of the show. Any solstice reports? I mean, anything happened down your way? Is there any magic that happened down your way, or anything cool that you all did, or pretty low key at down in Dousman, Wisconsin, for solstice stuff?
So unfortunately, my son has a fever. He's doesn't act real sick, but he's just a little lethargic. He's getting like 102, 103 temperature sometimes, and then crashes back down, then it goes back up. So it's up and down, up and down, up and down. So he didn't get to go out, but I went over to a friend's house. They were having a great big solstice party.
Cool.
And it was great to see a bunch of people out there.
Nice.
And it was very informal. It was just, hey, everyone, come here. Let's hang out together.
Cool.
And that's it,
Nice. So, well, that's what it should be, with a big bonfire and stuff. We had a fire here. We, of course, had the charcuterie board. We ate like kings. We had the whole crew. Let's see if I can share those. Yeah, I think I can share this. So we had the whole crew here. Can you see that fine looking crew?
Oh my goodness, look at them.
I know. So it's pretty cool. This is the whole family from here near and far in Wisconsin. And what's super cool is we got this photo and this painting right behind my brother-in-law's head here. This was actually painted by my grandma. So it's kind of like they're in spirit, not there in the flesh, but they're in spirit. So it was really cool to have everybody here. God, we ate a lot of food. It was super good and just loved it. Went and heard a concert. It was the St. Croix Opera, and they did a great job. I mean, most of the songs were either in Norwegian or Swedish, and I couldn't understand them. But it was super cool to do that. So it's just kind of fun to get everybody together, have a meal, break some bread, and just enjoy the togetherness with everyone. So that was cool. So let's talk about wrapping up 2024. So I know you had a busy one. You were jumping from, where did you start to where did you end with your farmers markets and stuff? You started with maybe one or two and then ended up with like 4 or 5, right?
Right. At first we had 2 farmers markets on our agenda. And it was doing some experimenting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Trying to find ways to get into farmers markets that I wouldn't necessarily be able to get into otherwise, or get in front of people that I wouldn't to otherwise. And that's one of the most important things when you're starting a business is trying different things. And I had this theory that, like, for instance, I went to Lake Geneva. I'm like, okay, it's a good market. Good stuff can happen there.
Money down that way.
Right. They don't have a meat vendor. And I have this hunch that, okay, the people that are on vacation, they're willing to spend a little bit more money when they're on vacation. Sure. But what I was also trying to go, okay, people want to know where the food's coming from. They want to shake the hand that feeds them. So, but where do you find that? What farm or what farmers market can you go to that people can do that? Or do these people even go to farmers markets? Their lives are busy. And I found a lot of really great, met a lot of great people, worked very closely, or got to become friends with them,
Cool.
Be close with people, that some of my customers, and several of them reached out, and I just shipped boxes down to them. They're down in Illinois, northern Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
They'll take
and
their money. They spend.
absolutely, it's okay that they're Bears fans. I
Yeah,
don't hold it against them.
that's right.
Actually, I have a lot of respect for them. I mean, to be a Bears fan this year, holy cow, poor people.
Right.
But yeah, that's where I found a lot of success, and then I got into another farmer's market, then I got into another farmer's market, and just getting to know the people in an area, and started getting even groupies, where people would follow me from one farmer's market to another, to another, to another.
No.
It's a lot of fun when you're able to get out there and
You can't
really
count me. You can't count me just because I've been to 2 of your farmers markets. You can't count me as a groupie there, young man.
Yeah, I can.
No, dang it.
Look at those glasses.
I know. Just like Liberace, man.
Oh yeah. But my aunts, okay. So Liberace's from West Milwaukee.
See, I didn't know that. I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Well, my aunt was like so he would do like concerts and everything in the area before he really became big and everything. And my aunt was a young girl that would go out there, and she'd see Liberace out there, and she thought he was just a good looking man. And she was convinced that she was going to subdue
Oh no.
Liberace. Yep.
Oh no.
Yeah, she tried her damnedest, she said, and she was very proud of the fact that yeah, she was one of Liberace's groupies back in the day.
Unbelievable. Really? Well, he is a fine looking fellow. Hold on a second here. Let's pull this up. Let's see. There it is. There you go. That's Liberace back in his heyday right there.
Yes.
What a fine looking gentleman from Wisconsin. Oh, yeah, there, guy. Look at that guy. He sings and does a good job there, guy. Nice. That's great. The Deuce Liberace.
Oh yeah, I can't say it the way that my aunt said it, but she had us rolling,
That's awesome.
Oh
dude.
yeah, Liberace. Liberace. And I'm like, aunts, you did nothing for him.
You got no shot there. None whatsoever, my friend. Not a one. Yeah, I mean, it is a you got to test the market and see which is a good one, which is not. Switching gears back to farmers markets, because you think Lake Geneva with all those big homes and vacationers down there, and then you've got Burlington, I think, was on your list too, right? And that's Chocolate City down there. There's lakes down that away as well. Yeah, and I'm sure you kind of gotta. Yeah, I know I'm going to do about this much here, and then over here, and then this one down here, maybe we'll cut that one out next year or something like that, right? I mean, there's kind of a hierarchy that develops, right?
Well, it takes some time for people to know that you're at the market, for them to plan and have in their head that the market is going to be something they're like, oh, well, I plan on getting my hamburger, my bratwurst, my pork chops, my steak, my chicken from Adam, and a lot of people, especially at first, are like, oh, I forgot you were going to be here. I just picked up a chicken from the grocery store.
Yeah, from Aldi or something, right?
Right. And they're like, well, I'd rather buy the meat from you. Well, meat, we're in agreement here. Let's work together.
And then when you're sure, you're like, well, you can buy another one. Just stick it in the freezer, or put that other one in the freezer. This one's ready to go. So
right. And as it kind of went, and the markets later in the season, people knew I was there. It developed. My hometown market, it's over in Dousman.
Yep.
That one started off extremely slow. It's just like, what am I doing here? But it's showing up. And you have to think of the market as marketing.
Yep.
Profitable marketing, but marketing nonetheless. And okay, instead of me spending $10,000, $20,000 on marketing and hoping that it's done right, we show up, we get to shake their hand and get my product out that way. And it's a great marketing tool. So I would show up at Dousman. I've been there 2 solid years now.
Sweet.
That we're going into year number 3. It started off as I'd sell maybe $100, $150 worth of product, and thinking, oh, this is gonna be a hard market for me to really make money at.
Right.
There's not as much money in Dousman as there is in some of these other areas. And all of a sudden it started picking up. Towards the end of the season, I was making good numbers.
Good.
Where I was like, hey, this is actually worth it. But it takes time and effort to show up at the market, be consistent with it, and earn the trust of the people around me that, hey, number one, it's worth the price that we're paying. Number two, he's going to be there.
Right.
So if I say I'm going to be there, I'm going to be there. And number three is, being able to just show up, be able to get to know people and develop those relationships with people. And it really turned out well. I'm excited to see because Lake Geneva was year number 1. Burlington was year number 1. I also did Waterford. That was year number 1. What are these markets going to look like next year? How is that going to work out?
Now, was there a farmer's market up in Okauchee or no?
Not yet.
Okay.
We're talking about having a farmer's market up there on a Sunday.
Oh, that's interesting.
Sunday mornings, do a Sunday morning farmers markets, do a little bit later, between start around 9, goes till 1-ish, maybe have a coffee vendor there, work with the stores and restaurants that are there and give them something to, to bring people downtown Okauchee. It's a cute little downtown.
Yeah, it totally is. I was there.
Yeah.
No, that's good, man. I like that. So you've had a busy year, and we'll get into 2025 in a minute. So anything else you'd like to share about 2024? Or?
Well, a lot of it was we've developed a lot of things, developing customer bases with stores.
Yep.
Looking at how can we continue building up at each one of these stores, get our products sold there. And then, developing products that work really well with the stores so that it's profitable for me and profitable for them. So those are two of the big things for us. Is it has to be profitable all the way around.
Right. Yeah. I mean, meat sticks and summer sausage were delicious. We have some of your pulled pork yet still in the freezer. I got to pull that out and make that up. So probably after the new year we'll do that. So that is on the agenda, my friend. It's
perfect.
Good stuff. So yeah, really nice. So our year was a little different over here. So we weren't exactly building a business. I mean, I thought about it. I actually was starting some things, but we'll start with the story this far. So in June of 23, this was our little Driftless Oaks farm here. And actually, this isn't even the most current. This wasn't the aerial of us living there. This is like a couple years old. I think it's 2022 or no, probably 2021, maybe even 2020, because we had the chicken coop. None of this garden was here, so this was a little farm, and we moved away from that in 23. And then I don't know if we can see this here. It's kind of funny. Okay, we'll stop sharing this one. And then the nice thing is I'm getting to play with the tools here, so that's always good. Here we go. We'll share the next one. So that was Maiden Rock, and then we moved up here to the landing. So this is our little house here. This is part of the Willow River right here. And it's really funny because this is from this year. And you can see what's here, right? Back here in this back corner. This is funny because as we zoom in, yes, this is one of our vehicles. This is our kayaks and our little trailer. And look who's back here.
Is that Tommy Cakes?
That is Tommy Cakes working in the garden. I was starting to water the watering troughs back here. I hadn't quite finished the fencing. I had some of it in place. I hadn't gotten the gates in yet, but yeah, I was looking at the photo. I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Oh, there's the hose right there, and yeah, that's me. I was getting some water in there. So yeah, so this was the first. Oh, we had Mulch Mountain right here too. So yeah, this was our place, and it was. This was in June, so I hadn't finished the project yet. I didn't finish the garden until July, late June, very late June, and then it was like I got to get these plants in. So I was planning on selling a bunch of seedlings, but just we got busy with Mulch Mountain, with this whole garden build project, and I need the fence because we do have a lot of deer that come through. So I needed to protect the garden, and yeah, it's just really funny that the Google car caught me back in the garden back there. So yeah, I think I must have finished it up soon after this to get the gate in. It was a rainy day, and I got the gate done and the back gate in, and so that was to have a garden again after I had the last time I really had a serious garden was 2020. So to have that again was awesome. And I did grow a ton of seedlings, but I used what I could, gave a bunch to my mom, and I just didn't sell them because they're just, there was too much going on. So, but it was fun, and I learned a lot, just about, I should show, there was you can't really see it in that photo, but there's a tree that was back there shading the garden that I had to cut down. You just start to find things as, you get stuff in the ground, it starts to grow or not grow. And then you're like, what's going on? And, oh, there's too much shade here. So I got to cut that little maple down. And so it was a really good year from that aspect of getting back in the garden, getting back growing things. I even look at that photo, and I've got, I'll pull it back up. It was another thing that I started building on late in the year. Built the kayak rack. So there's a kayak rack over here now, right over on the side of the house. There's what else do we do? There's a wood rack inside here just for a little bit of firewood. I don't want to attract little mice. Yeah, the full garden. I also landscaped down in here. So there's just a whole lot that happened this year from a project perspective. So it was a good time though. Good projects, good stuff. So and then you did the carnivore diet early on. I did the whole 30 back to back. Those were successful. And, well, for me, it was successful at the time, but then travel and getting sloppy with the diet again. So we'll have to get on that. I've got to get back on that and start in 2025. But, yeah, I think 2024 was a good one. There was a lot of stuff that happened, a lot of projects that got done. And it really set us up for what's coming next in 2025. And I think that's right where we want to be. I got a whole sheet of things that happened.
Well, that's good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I mean, you were a busy little boy.
Little elf.
Busy
little elf.
Oh
Absolutely.
My goodness, those glasses! I tell you.
I know. I think one of the other thing that I did, I know you were doing it too. Cold plunges, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was good. One other thing that we started in 24, this live stream, because it's kind of like, I don't know what I'm doing with this podcast at the moment. And then we're like, let's do it. And then we're at show 12, and it really has, the subs have picked up on YouTube. The audience is starting to pick up, which is great. I've seen people pop on and off here tonight. Nobody's put any comments in yet, but hopefully they will. But it was also Jules and our 30th year anniversary. Went down to Costa Rica.
30 years.
30 years. I know she gets all this right with the glasses and the hat and this jolly beard and all that. Yes. what could be better, right? So we had a great trip down to Costa Rica, and that was a lot of fun. So it's been a good year, been a real good year. So looking forward to 2025, though. How about you?
I think 2025 is going to be a banger year.
Yeah.
2024, we went from we 6 times our sales, our gross sales
6x
in 2024. 2025, I want to just multiply it by 3 times. Still is a big number.
That's a big number, dude.
And I think it's very possible because 2024 was a big building year. And all of a sudden now it's like, okay, I built so much. Not only that, I built confidence. I made what are you drinking there, buddy?
Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay.
Just apple juice.
Just apple juice.
Just apple juice.
You had your pinkies up, so
I did.
Fancy.
It's just sparkling water.
Okay.
Very sparkly. It's elf juice.
Elf juice.
Elf juice.
There you go. But yeah, what's cool is it started off as I was able to find some success, and now I'm going to be able to build off of that success in 2025. And so for us in 2025, it's going to be, we're going to maybe add another farmer's market, take one of the farmer's markets out, add a farmer's market, and see what works and what doesn't work for weekends. Trying to find ways to utilize my weekends more efficiently for marketing, for selling, and maybe get into a couple other markets. I am already in conversation with a couple of stores to get my product in their stores. They're very interested. And so early 2025 in January, we're going to be having further conversations, seeing what we can do to work together. And there's going to be a couple other opportunities that come out of that, which is, once again, you talk to people, opportunities just show up.
Sure.
So we're excited about that. What else do we have?
Before we break from that, so as you're talking to a store, how does that work exactly? I mean, do you sign a contract with them and say, okay, you're going to take X%, I'm going to get Y%, and I'm going to make sure that blah amount of meat is here for you to sell. It's going to be this much counter space here. I mean, is it that detailed, or is it more just a handshake and okay, here we go?
It's more of a handshake. Here we go.
Okay.
That way they can just sit there and say, hey, Adam, it's not working out. Sorry, you're gone.
Okay.
I do it a couple different ways. One, first way is I just sell right to the people, or I sell right to the store at a discounted price. It's not very profitable, but one of my biggest things is if my product's going to be in your store, my name has to be all over the place. For me, it's marketing, right? Profitable marketing. That's been my big thing, is everything has to be a profitable marketing position. Then on top of that, we are so is it a product that I can carry and keep on hand? Because last thing you want to do is have one of these stores sit there and go, oh, you're not holding your end of the bargain. I'm running out of product.
Okay.
It's a good problem to have, but if you can't refill, that's a bad problem. So, but yeah, a couple of the stores, I do a commission basis where I will, obviously they make less on that margin. I own the product, they own the freezer space, and we're able to get our product out that way.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that's interesting to think about, because, as a gardener, right? I mean, or beekeepers, right? They've got product they want to sell. And then, I remember like Curtis Stone, or some of the followers of Curtis Stone, Drew Sample was one. Some of these other folks that took his class and everything, they were trying to get into stores and then have that product in stores. And Michael Bell was another one down in Dallas Half Acre Farm, getting in a grocery store and having that product there, and, all the steps and the hoops and everything. So, the restaurants, the grocery stores, and then, individuals. And it seemed a lot more freedom with the individuals, but you get those bigger hits with the stores, right? And then the restaurants are cool because it's a steady supply, but they're just putting it in a dish, or putting it in salads or whatever you're offering. So it's a little tougher to get your name out there with a restaurant, but it's steady Eddie money. So
right. And that's one of the biggest things, is trying to find that balance, right?
mm-hmm.
Restaurants can sell a lot, and then all of a sudden they're like, they cut you off.
Yep.
Grocery stores are a little bit more steady.
Mm-hmm.
Margin's not as big,
Mm-hmm.
but you're more in front of people, and obviously direct to consumer is where right now where my bread and butter is.
Sure.
And it's a good way to work with people, and get to know the people that are consuming my food. They get to know me. It's, to my opinion, it's going to be the most profitable, because I'm not discounting anything, and I'm building those relationships, and it's the most fulfilling part of it.
Right. Direct to consumer is pretty good, man. If it's the butcher box is probably the gold stand or the gold ticket, right? Because then you're getting a monthly subscription that renews every month, money in the tank, and it keeps a nice little balance in your checking account, I'm sure. So that would be a wonderful thing to have, I'm sure.
Right. And that's something that you can grow. And that's one of the things with farmers markets, with working with, say, some of these grocery stores. It's hard you can grow and you can grow fast, but there's just me. It's just me, my wife and I. That's it.
Yep.
That's our whole business, right?
Right.
It's costs a lot more to grow that and 10x it to a point where I'm more hands off.
Right.
It's only me.
Right.
Where
Scalability.
the boxes can be very scalable. I can find ways to make that work for scalability. There's other services out there that I can utilize and go, hey, you know what? You are the ones in charge of filling these boxes up. These are my standards of quality. Anything that doesn't meet those standards, you put to the side. We'll figure out what to do with that afterwards. But other than that, yeah, it's about keeping those high standards up there.
Right. The there are CSA. I don't know if you've ever had a conversation with the farm to table, the urban farmers, those types with the CSAs. Have they ever approached you or anything like that? I'm just kind of curious, brainstorming here.
A little bit. I had a couple people approach me about CSAs. My boxes kind of take the place of CSAs a little bit.
Okay.
With subscription boxes. Here's the thing with CSAs that I love, is it really can sell a lot of product for a farmer. The thing I hate about it is you can get yourself into a position where if you don't win for those people, guess what? The customer doesn't win. Then all of a sudden the customer doesn't want to be around you. Like,
right.
They're looking to get a bunch of cool stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So
that was always the thing, is, I never knew how they did it, because you have to have something from April or May to October, right? And you've got to fill that box. And what if the crop fails? You know what I mean? Sometimes stuff doesn't grow, or sometimes the slugs eat it, or sometimes the grasshoppers show, the plague happens or the blight happens. And how the hell do you overcome that? I guess you have to grow enough to overcome that. But,
right.
That was always one of those things where you're kind of sixes,
Yeah, I've heard some horror stories about CSAs, and I've heard some amazing success stories about CSAs. And I guess I want to be able to, I'll take the risk, give it to, and give my customers still a good product.
Right.
Because if for some reason say it was on the chicken end and I lost half my chickens. Sorry guys, instead of usually get 4 chickens, now you only get 2 chickens, and those chickens get awfully expensive awfully quick.
Yeah.
And most people, I don't think personally, most people don't want to necessarily they won't understand taking that loss with you as much as some. It's not going to sit right with them, and they're like, well, I didn't get what I wanted out of it, and then they leave. And I totally understand that.
Yeah, I was riding around with my wife's cousin's husband. I don't know what relation that is to me. Anyway, and he was talking. He's in the big food world, big ag world, and he was talking about the bird flu and just how the straight line or the winds were blowing, and that one farm down there got it, and then this huge, massive farm got it, and they had to do a lot of removal of chicken, and boy, that can just really wipe you out. You know what I mean? So it's tough. That's tough.
Yeah. So I love the idea of CSAs, but yeah, that's not a route that I'm going to go down as right now. Maybe if it's a joint CSA and kind of like, hey, let's bring your chicken in, and some of your pork chops in.
Yep.
Our vegetables.
Yeah.
Hey, like, that'd be cool.
That'd be kind of like your gift. That'd be like a summertime gift box,
Right. Exactly.
Which would be really cool, actually.
Yeah.
Throw some sourdough in there.
Oh,
yeah. Hey, a sourdough person. They do some really cool stuff.
Yep. Yes, they do.
The microgreens and the sourdough and having the meat. Look at that. It'd be a taste of Wisconsin flavors.
Man, people would just be sitting there enjoying all those good flavors. And it's not a bad idea.
Something to be explored as you're hanging out at Java Twist on Thursdays at 3 to 7.
Way to put it in there.
In Pewaukee, Wisconsin. Right off of 94. It's right there. I mean, really cool spot.
Yeah, it's convenient to be there.
Right.
So we're getting a lot of people through the door, or some people through the door. This last week was a little slow, but cool thing is it's a very, like I said, it's a very elite market. So you don't have the fluff. You don't have some little lady selling salto ornaments or selling puzzles or whatever else. It's just it is straight up the stuff you need.
Yeah,
the stuff you want.
There you go. The advertising writes itself, my brother.
It really does.
It sure does.
Yeah. So 2024 goals, though. What
2025 goals? 2024 is that way.
Well, I mean, we still have a week left, right?
Right.
We have 8 days left. What are you going to do with those 8? Finish strong. Gotta put those inches on. Push to get an inch further every single day, right? But 2025, yes, you're right. 2025 goals. So that's my big goal is I'm going to attempt to 3 times it this year. We are in the process of building a food truck. We're going to have the food truck up and running. That's going to add a lot of cool things to our business, and be able to have our chef doing the things that we do.
Cool.
And under our standards. So that's going to be cool. It's going to have Modern Frontier Farms plastered all over the side of that thing. Oh, nice. That's great. But
you'll be your own best client.
That's part of it. Build your own clientele. And the cool thing is I can sit there and say, hey, I have a lot of this, say, skirt steak. Melissa, can you go ahead and how about we make some tacos? Or, obviously our smash burgers. They sell like crazy. But yeah, we can grow and, find all those things that we have excess of and get people to help people learn, like, this is what you can do with this product.
Right. Yeah, that's really cool. That's like your own testimony right there. This is you can make this at home. This isn't that hard. It's not that complicated. Won't taste as good as, our chef or me doing it, but you can replicate the flavor, man.
Well, a lot of it is just technique, and
Mm-hmm.
just taking your patience and doing it right, and just takes a little bit of time. At-home chefs can be amazing chefs.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We took 4 roasts and we made this like it was like an Italian beef, and it was so good, really good. And everybody just chowed on it. It was awesome. So that was our Friday night feast with the charcuterie board. It was really nice. So
Very nice.
yeah.
And then but one of my big plans for this coming up season is just to become slightly more organized. Becoming more efficient with my time, and there's ways to do that. I've been reading a lot of books about doing that, just improving,
right.
Growing, learning, doing,
learning, doing, growing, and being a little better every day. See that tracker down there in the bottom, my brother? You just have to read that. You're good.
Yep. That's all you got to do. Just read the tracker.
Read the tracker. Yeah, I got you, man. No, I understand that too, and it really feels like a lot of work since moving in here in June 23. We have done a lot of work here, so now we're here, and we are going to put those roots really deep and really try to grow what we're doing here. And I'm planning on reconfiguring the garden just a little bit to make it a little more efficient, kind of like you're saying, with your operation, just making it more efficient and more organized. Same thing with the garden. And one thing I'm really playing with are these barrel gardens. I've got these poly tanks, 55-gallon drums, cut them in half and turn them into a planter. And I gave 2 to my mom. The 2 prototypes I gave them to my mom, and she loved it. So no bending. It'll be real easy for I'll figure out a cage for the squirrels. But I've got, I went ahead and bought, I don't know, I got like 18 of these things, and I'm just going to build them into planters and sell them. Use it on Facebook Marketplace and start to test the market and see what happens. I think I've got a good concept, and can build it, and that'll be kind of the start of things. So, and then for this platform, start to, really be consistent. This Monday show really helps with that. But then just be consistent as we move along this season and really try to grow the audience here and get good feedback. And then I'm working on some other things as well in the background. And really I've been thinking a lot about, you selling your meat, right? And then you were also selling worm castings. They're like 2 different worlds. You don't want
not quite.
Close, but not quite, right? I mean, you're not going to eat worm castings. I mean, you will eventually, but not today, right? So you're not going to put them in a frying pan, nothing like that. So, I've been really thinking about the way this whole platform has been put together over the years and kind of cobbled together. And here we're going over here and we're doing over that over there, and maybe just kind of organize it a little better. Organize is a good word. So focus things where they need to be focused. You know what I mean? Because if you're too wide and not deep enough, then you're really not hitting the right market. It's just, it's nice, but it's not really what I need. So I'm kind of really interested in kind of tuning things up a bit here on Small Scale Life platform, and then have a couple other things for the other things we'd like to do. So if that makes any sense.
Absolutely. So I like to equate everything to fishing, right? Because it's like you're almost chasing the fish. You see the fish. Oh, I see the fish there, and you cast where you just saw that fish, and you go and like, oh, well, why didn't I get that fish over there? And then you're like, oh, well, there's a fish over there, and you cast over that way, and it's just like, why am I not catching fish?
Well, and I was throwing musky lures for perch, and that's probably not the right lure, right? I mean, you know what I mean? You got to fit the right lure to the right fish, so to speak.
So, and that's where I think we need to have more people out there growing themselves, right? Not just sitting there growing food, but becoming a stronger person, themselves. And, I'm such a different person than I was 5 years ago.
No, same.
Way better, different person than I was 10 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
When I first started going down this path of like, hey, you know what? You can do a little bit better for yourself, and realizing what I was capable of doing. And I like to show other people that they can do that too. You know? So there's that aspect of it. There's a small agriculture. It's like, I love showing people about agriculture, but there's a lot of people talking about that. And what are you able to show when it comes to gardening on a podcast? It's a lot of information, but it's difficult to show it, right?
Right. Yeah. And that's why YouTube has to be the vehicle for some of the stuff, because it's I like to say a full contact sport, if you will. But, people want to see the thing and not just hear me blab about it. Right. I mean, and even these YouTubes, these live streams are more interesting because you can actually see us and our expressions and our funny little faces or our funny little goggles.
Yeah. There's some nice glasses.
I know. I can see clearly now. The fog is gone. Yes, I can. I can see clearly now. The rain is gone.
Oh, I tell you. This guy.
I get hooked up with this guy.
That's what Jules and I talk about. Like, really?
I know, right? I know. So I don't know if you've heard the last 2 podcast episodes, but they've been the audio ripped from this, of course. But, if you listen to the last 2 podcasts, you would hear me sing at the very start of the show. So I don't know if you caught that. I don't know if you want to catch that, but just heads up.
Oh, goodness gracious. God help us.
And as I was snowblowing, the 3rd song revealed itself to me. So, yes.
The 3rd song. So
the 3rd song.
You're gonna keep torturing our 2 people that listen to us.
Absolutely.
Oh,
yes. They're going to hate me so much. They're going to love me.
That's okay.
No, I agree with trying to inspire others to improve and stuff too. I mean, that's another one big aspect here is, you and I are both getting older, brother. And, it's getting harder and harder to lose a couple extra pounds. And I don't want to look like the jolly old elf. So that is another thing that is going to be a huge focus for me. I need to set aside the time to do it. And cold plunging is definitely in that. The yoga stuff that I've been doing with Jules, very much part of that. And I know some of the guys are going, oh my gosh, really? But yes, yoga. Yes, it helps the stretching. It really does help these joints. And, especially if you have arthritis and get things moving and stretching. And, just being more active, biking or hiking or kayaking, fishing, definitely more fishing required.
Yes. Well, I'll have to try to get out there and see if we can get some tip-ups going.
Oh, yeah. So my brother was here and he brought a couple tip-ups, but just with the timing and the opera and all the other things, it just didn't quite work out. But we know how far out we have to go. So.
All right. I mean, you have a beautiful ice shanty sitting right there on the lake. It'd be perfect.
I know we could record and we were watching for those tip ups and go or sit in the hot tub or the cold plunge tank and the hot tub.
Oh, that's right. You have a hot tub.
We do.
So
So we dreamed about that for over 10 years, and we finally got it, and it's really sweet. So that's one of those things that you just didn't think was ever going to happen, and then here we are. So it wasn't going to happen on the farm. The electrical there and it wasn't going to happen out there.
Nah. Now you guys are hot tub people.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So
that's another goal too. Get in the damn hot tub in 2025. Yes.
Well, I think in January I'm definitely going to do it's World Carnivore Month, so I'm going to try doing the carnivore diet again.
You are?
For the entire month of January. Why not? I'm the meat guy.
Yeah. Well, and last year I was doing the whole 30. You were doing carnivore, and you lost how much did you lose?
I lost 17, 18 pounds.
That's really good, dude.
And I felt great. And that's one of the cool things about eating healthy. You start feeling so much better, and you're like,
yeah.
And you also have, once you do it once, then you kind of kind of miss that,
Yes.
I felt really good. It wasn't sore. Same thing with the cold plunge. It kind of helps out with that too. It really shows you that being uncomfortable makes you comfortable.
Right.
That goes with business. That goes with exercise. That goes with diets. Being uncomfortable makes you comfortable in the long run. And doing those uncomfortable things where I go to a customer and put myself out there, hey, buy my meats. And they buy my meats. And then it's like, well, okay, I'm building a customer base. I'm getting more and more comfortable.
Right.
Because I put myself in a position that was uncomfortable. Sacrifice.
Yeah, no, that's totally true. We talked a little bit about that last week as well, just being in that on that edge, if you're looking at your forest, you're on the edge where the chaos is, and that's where the growth happens. That's where the creation happens. I mean, not chaos like the city's burning down or the world's on fire, but just there's things happening on the edge, not in the deep forest where the canopy is shading everything out. There's no seeds growing there. Well, not many. They're not going to get very big, but you open that up and suddenly you've got massive growth or a lot of growth. So
right, it's important to have that disturbance, and that's what happens on those edges is disturbance.
Right.
And you want to grow, you have to disturb something. If you want to you can't do the same old thing.
Right.
So yeah, it's a big part, and maybe we say it too often, maybe don't say it enough, but that's how you grow, is by getting uncomfortable, that thing that are getting itchy, going and getting sore muscles because you sat there and you did some push-ups, or man, I don't need that extra donut,
Yes.
Hey,
the extra Hershey Kisses.
Yes.
I love syrup. Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I think it's going to be fun too to watch Jules. So I've got a for me, I'm working full time, so it's going to be kind of in the off hours, developing things and doing things and keeping the garden going and this place maintained. And then also Jules is going to get some things going too. So it's going to be kind of fun to kind of work together with her and getting some of her things going. And I think it's going to be a really interesting year. Really interesting.
I have high hopes for 2025. I think a few of the steps I think people should start thinking about. Should we go through a little bit of the steps of
let's do that.
How to be successful? Well, number one is have a plan.
Definitely have a plan.
Number one is actually have a dream, and then have a plan on how you're going to execute that plan, that dream.
One of the things, sometimes you can get too caught up in the plan and not actually act, but it does help to write things down and journal it out. And just, what are you going to do and how are you going to do it, right? Work backwards on the steps. And, these little journals are great for doing that. I mean, this thing is chock full with ideas, but some of the best ideas are like stuff that I really want to do. So I know what I'm going to do. Now I just need to do it. But yes, have a plan.
Right.
Number one.
And then go, okay, that plan, sometimes that plan falls out of step and you're like, well, it's A, B, C. Sometimes you're gonna hit B first, and then C, and then A,
Yep.
and it doesn't always fall in sync, and you're gonna have to be flexible with that. But you're gonna see opportunities, you're gonna excel at those opportunities and go, hey, this is something cool, this is happening, and you're going to learn from those opportunities what works, what doesn't work. Some of these opportunities are going to fall flat on their face, and you're going to be like, you know what did I learn from this?
Right.
What's really cool is when you get to start learning from other people and seeing mistakes other people are making, or possible mistakes that other people are making, going, all right, them over here, for instance, there's a store that I work with that they have very limited hours, and they're like, well, we won't need work-life balance. I go, that's great. And I love work-life balance. But if you're a startup, you can't have work-life balance.
Right.
It's about work. You got to put the time in and put the effort in. Otherwise, you're not going to see the growth that you need, not just desire, but you need it in order to grow.
Right.
So how is that going to happen?
Right. I think another, and didn't see your list, but I'm going to guess, because I know you've had one. I've had one. Mentors are always good, right?
Yep.
They can be very helpful, give you good advice, and help you navigate. That's essentially what the show is, everyone. We're mentoring. So on different ways to do things, right? Maybe I don't have a business, but I've done a lot of other things. And Adam has a business and he's kind of goofy looking. So, we make a good couple. We're the odd couple. I mean, look at this face, right?
Oh my God. Oh, yes. But
just lost 5 more listeners.
We're negative listeners all of a sudden.
I know they're gonna boot us off YouTube.
They're gonna ban. We'll be the first ones to get banned from YouTube for just looking like goofballs.
I know.
But yeah,
thank you for hanging in there, everyone.
I think I'm the only person on there.
I think so too.
So that's okay. We're still having fun.
That's right.
I think that's one of the big. That's another point of enjoy what you're doing. If you're not enjoying it, you're not going to be able to do it right, and you're going to end up sitting there hating it.
Right.
No way do you want to sit there do all this work to build something just to hate it.
Right.
Sometimes you're going to love just the process of it. Maybe it's not going to be the thing that it is. You got to find the thing that makes money that you can at least minimally tolerate doing. Better off enjoying it, because that, especially when you're trying to sell something like what I'm doing, people see my enthusiasm. They love that part of it. So yeah, having that enthusiasm, having a plan, executing that plan, not making excuses that that plan isn't going to work for XYZ reason. It's about doing that work, every minute of that day, finish every single day strong, work on those inches. I was talking to a friend of mine, was that William Perry, the fridge from
no, you weren't talking to the fridge, were you?
No, I wasn't talking to the fridge. I was going to
say
about the fridge.
Okay, yes. William the Refrigerator Perry. That was the 1985 Chicago Bears. Big old dude who was rumbling down the field. Yes, he was a fullback. He was a defensive tackle, and then they pulled him into fullback on occasion. Yes.
So when he was out there running, they said, "What was your success?" And he would his success was, and he said, "I try to get every single inch out of every single play." Each day you have a play. and how can you get every single inch out of that? And what can you do to make that happen?
Right.
These are the things that you have to do, like finish every day strong, every day cover those inches, like William Perry did on that field. It was looking at trying to get that extra half inch, pushing that ball just a little bit more. That's it. And when you do that, then you're going to start to find success.
Right. And I think, since we're talking pro football players, my dad was a pro football player. Where's his picture? His picture is right over here. My dad played for the Oilers and the Broncos. There. That handsome devil. That guy.
Oh, look at him.
I know, right? And he's probably going, what the hell is he wearing? Anyway, he always said he wasn't the biggest. He wasn't the fastest. He wasn't the meanest out there. But he had incredible competitive spirit. And he had the desire. That was what propelled him. He wanted to do it. He had the desire, and that pushed him ahead all the time. And then he was also very consistent. He was there. He was working out. He was doing the thing. And those things were the keys to his success. So, pro football is hard. That's a hard business. Every finger was broken. His knees were blown. Broke his back at one point. But man, every day he got up and he did the work, even in the private sector after he left pro football. I think he was a little crazy. He said, "Oh, I've never taken a sick day in like 15 years or 20 years." I'm like, that's a benefit. Take that. But he was proud of that. He was consistent. He was driven. He loved what he did. He loved people. So, I think we can all learn some of those lessons there too. Every inch, right? Being consistent, having that desire, and keep pushing yourself.
Right. You're not done until you're done. So I'm excited to see what everyone else is going to be able to do in 2025.
Yeah.
I want to hear people reporting back, hey, I finished a little bit further today. It's a little bit better today. And
right.
I'm excited to hear what other people are doing. I'm excited to hear what you're going to be doing, Tom. I'll be excited to report back what I'm doing. And it's going to get busy. It's 2025 is going to be a very busy day or year, but cool things are happening. And
I think one other thing that's going to help potentially help us along, whether you're selling garden stuff like I'll probably be doing, or meat stuff like you're doing, healthy, non-processed, non full of chemical stuff like you're selling, or like our friend Michael Bell is selling down in Dallas Half Acre Farms, lettuces and all and tomatoes and cucumbers and all those things. We'll see what this whole effort to make America healthy again, what that does. Maybe there'll be renewed interest in this kind of stuff, especially from a small business owner, so people can maybe grow their own stuff. And then exactly what you put on it or what you didn't put on it and how you grew it. And there's a real pride in doing that. And it's a gateway to homesteading. Tomatoes are the gateway to homesteading. Chickens are the gateway to farmstead and all the other stuff, homesteading as well. But then also the meat side of it, you're not full of antibiotics. You're not full of growth hormone. You're full of pasture grass, right? I mean, what could be better? So we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't know. I have no idea what's coming in the future for political side, but maybe there'll be renewed interest in what we're doing.
I think there's going to be a lot of cool things that are, boy, I keep saying that word, cool things. I think there's a lot of cool things.
These are cool. These sunglasses.
Yes. People are going to start really looking at, and they've already awoken and start looking at things and going, okay, how can I look at where my food's coming from?
Right.
How can I start doing something of my own?
Right.
We might be coming into a really tough time in this country. Let's keep our fingers crossed that doesn't happen too long. But we're going to start really seeing the resilience that we call American people. That this melting pot of all sorts of unique cultures coming together, and I'm excited to see how that happens.
Yeah.
And it's gonna revolve around food. Food is something everyone does. Hopefully 3 times a day, twice a day, however your diet goes, but it's going to be something that we have to really look at as a nation. What's happened with our food, and it's going to be a revolution of sorts.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
I'm glad that I'm going to be a part of that revolution to go, hey, you know what? I want to take back what's for me and my family, take back responsibility. And I'm going to do that with my business, living the way I live my business, living the way I live my life, and living the way I feed people.
Yeah, totally. I think, it's tough. And I don't know if you've ever done it, but it's really tough to grow like enough potatoes to last you the whole winter. I mean, you got to have a lot of potatoes to do that, right? Or, a lot of those things, but you can supplement what you get in the store, maybe trim it a little bit by what you grow, looking for those higher calorie products or vegetables like sweet potatoes or potatoes, and then the onions that will keep and the squashes, some of those things, and changing from endless cherry tomatoes to something that'll keep. I mean, we'll get into that, and we've got to get into that. And also upping our canning game and food preservation. That's super important. I mean, these are the lessons that I learned back in 2008 during that crash. And I was determined not to get there again, to be totally helpless and totally skill-less, no skills, right? So that drives me as well, right? And I know with my small scale gardening, in the small scale garden right over here, it's it's going to be tough to get a whole year's worth, but I can grow a lot of things, and I can make things stretch. There's ways, especially soups and stews and all that kind of stuff. So,
well, you're going to grow appreciation also. You don't just grow vegetables; you grow pride and appreciation for what you're doing, where your food comes from. I think I've said it once before, but eating food is the most intimate thing that you can possibly do.
Oh yeah,
it is more intimate than being with your partner. Because it literally becomes part of you.
Yeah,
think about that. That becomes part of you now. So if you're eating a cheeseburger from McNo's, and that becomes part of you.
Yeah.
If you're eating something that's like you have pride in growing, that also becomes part of you. So pride of hunting it, pride of raising the livestock, pride of just knowing the guy that grew it, be able to shake that hand. That becomes part of you. And it might be just a real tiny microscopic part, but still a part of you. And I try to think about that every single time I sit down and eat. That's something that I'm really going to strive to do more of. Is I'm not a very religious person, but that aspect of having having a grace or prayer over your meal, and going and just reflecting on where that food came from, whether it was something that you grew, your neighbor grew, or the farmer down the road grew, having that thankfulness, that graciousness over that stuff that sustains you.
No, I totally agree. And even Julie with she's learned a lot about yoga and the way they do things, in that part of the world. They Christians don't have a corner on prayer. So being thankful to the Creator for the ground, for the soil, for the seed, for the plant, for the people who picked it. I mean, all that gratitude, it really comes back to a gratitude practice that we've talked about here before. I mean, yeah, it's cool stuff to grow something like this, and to have a basket just overflowing full of produce. I mean, and the beautiful thing is you can make salsa and all kinds of stuff out of all these tomatoes, or you can go over to your neighbor and say, hey, need some tomatoes? Want some tomatoes? Try this out. I mean, that's how I got into gardening. Was the neighbor came over and she's like, I've got all these tomatoes. I don't know what to do with them. Here, you want some? And I was like, how did you do this magic? What did you do? How can I do this in my own yard? And that was 2008. And that's when I started doing this kind of stuff. So it's simple little acts like that really that really get you going. And here we are, 2024, and growing stuff like this. I mean, this was just one of many harvests this year, which was totally, totally cool. But yeah, I totally agree with you about thanking source and the soil and everyone else, for putting that food on the table. It's really important to have that gratitude.
Is that just one tiny little cucumber?
Damn you. You're ruining my vibe, but yes, you're totally right. It's one little sad cucumber, my brother.
Hey, you know what? You grew it, and I'm sure you're very proud of that little cucumber.
So this was before I cut that little maple tree that was shading out my cucumbers, and I was really having a struggle with cucumbers this year. So yes, that is one little teeny cucumber. Yeah. Man.
You know what? Having pride of where your food comes from, I think that's a huge thing. So,
but you know what? I did have a lot of
cucumber.
What's that?
Yeah, having pride in where your food's coming from is a beautiful thing, even though it's just one little cucumber.
I thought you were giving me a hard time about my cucumber, but yes.
Did you give Jules that cucumber?
Hush. You know what? I did have good luck with this year. Zucchini. Yes, lots and lots of zucchini.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude. Awesome. Any other tips as we move forward? We got going here. So, write stuff down. That helps too. You can have that dream, and then you start to work on that A, B, and C goal. Start to write stuff down, and then kind of track your progress too. So put a little timeline on it too. And in some cases, work backwards. Like I want to put an ebook together on the wicking bed stuff. I got to have it together for probably April if I'm going to sell these things. So I've got to work backwards and put this together, and then have it as kind of a bigger, better offer for folks. So, if you're really interested in that, let me know.
I think one of the biggest things, my biggest tip is right now for the next week until the new year, reflect back on the last year, not on how much you didn't do, but all the cool things that were successes, what you did do, how much you grew. And you have to take a second to stop and smell the roses, or at very least, just look back and go, wow, yeah. I came all that way.
Yes.
Because you look at all that way, these big plans that you have for this coming up season of 2025 don't look like anything. Like you got it.
Yeah, I think one more thing to think about too is, there's someone sitting in a hospital room right now wishing they were right where you're at right now and could do it all over again, right? So take advantage of that and take advantage of your time and make 2025 the best.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Any other words, my friend?
Nope.
Not
yet. Nope.
Yeah. Oh, one little statistic.
Hey, Wisconsin goodbyes.
Oh, yeah. One more thing. If you watched last week's show, you know what we're talking about there, guy. So on the Small Scale Life YouTube channel, there are over 350 videos and shorts there. 350. Now, 240 of those are actually actual Small Scale Life podcast episodes that are under podcast. I hooked up the RSS feed to the YouTube channel. So you'll get, some of them have videos already. Some have live streams already. but then you've got the full podcast there. So that's why you'll see this live stream pop up in lives, and then a couple days later there'll be a podcast of the same title. It's the show from the podcast just coming on over to YouTube. So that's pretty cool. And there's over 2,000 subscribers there, and we're growing. So it's 100. Check this out. Of the podcast, 240 episodes, there is 164 hours and 17 minutes. 164 hours and 17 minutes of episodes there. So don't tell me you got nothing to listen to, folks. I'm not Rogan, but I got a little bit of catalog there. So
very cool.
Really, really fancy glasses on today. So, all right, Mr. Adam, I think we've hit the 115 mark, probably our longest show.
Mm-hmm.
So
what am I supposed to say?
Remember to learn, do, grow, be a little better every day. This is Tom from the Small Scale Life Podcast.
This is Adam with Modern Frontier Farms.
We're so happy that you checked in. Feel free to put a comment on even after the live stream ends. We'll be happy to look at it. If there's something that you want us to talk about, throw it in the comments. Fire off an email to us. Links are in the show description below. And we'll be back. I don't know. Are we going to be back? We'll got to talk about next week. I'll be on vacation, but we can do it.
You're up for it. I'm up for it.
I won't wear these fancy glasses. I might have New Year's glasses on. So,
oh boy.
Remember to learn, to grow, be a little bit every day. We'll see you real soon. Take care, everybody.